good evening. It's great to be here with you. But before we explore the future, let me start with a bit of my own story. So I grew up, as you've just heard, in Peckham, South London, and I was the eldest of 5 children and started working as a barrow boy when I was just 11 years old. I left school at 16, and after a spell back in the market as a butcher and working as a lifeguard, I applied to join the London Fire Brigade, and I failed the interview. And that was the first of many failures in my life. I've failed countless times in life, and it's because of those failures that I've succeeded. Each one taught me how to think differently, how to spot patterns others miss, and how to keep going when the route ahead isn't obvious. I was diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD when I was 44. But when I finally was, it kind of everything clicked for me. The things that once made me feel broken were actually the things that made me brilliant. My curiosity, my restlessness, my ability to connect the unexpected. My career wasn't linear either. I've led innovation and futurology for brands like Burberry and the John Lewis Partnership. And through my company Stretch, I work with Virgin and Persimmon and many more companies. Along the way, as we just heard, I was awarded an honorary doctorate from Kingston University for my work on future skills, helping emerging generations think differently about innovation and the future within their learning modules. So when I talk about the future tonight, it's not from theory or prediction, it's from experience and a life that's rarely followed a straight line. And maybe that's why I see the future differently, because I've learned that the most interesting paths aren't mapped, they're made. So if what I share tonight feels a little different to what you're used to hearing, that's intentional, because the future demands a different way of seeing, a different way of thinking. And with that, let's explore the future of rental living. Tonight is not about predicting, it's about stress testing tomorrow. I'm not standing here to tell you what's certain. I'm here to help us think about what's possible. When we talk about build to rent, the conversation often starts with what's measurable, yields, policy, planning. But none of that will mean much if we're not ready for what's coming next, because the world around housing is shifting faster than the industry can build it. So tonight I want to stretch your view, not to sell a future, but to explore it. Philosopher Marcel Proust wrote, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. And that is what this session is all about. It's changing the lens, looking at rental living not through the rules of today, but through the possibilities of tomorrow. We'll travel through 3 forces shaping the future of rental living, then 2 possible futures, one optimistic and one more cautionary, and finally 3 decisions you can act on right now. Think of this not as a map. It's absolutely not a map of what will happen. It's a compass. It's a way of navigating complexity as it unfolds. The first force is demographics. Affordability dominates headlines, but price alone won't define who we build for. We're seeing older renters who want independence, not institutions. Multi-generational households reshaping what home even means. Co-living evolving beyond students to attract professionals, key workers, and those seeking connection. And a rise in neurodiversity, people who think differently, perceive differently, and live differently. The second force is technology and consumerism. We already live inside subscription systems for entertainment, mobility, even work, and homes are next. AI will underpin everything: predictive maintenance, energy optimization, personalized services. Done well, it removes friction, but done badly, it creates invisible, unfair landlords. And the smarter homes become, the more they must adapt around the person. Imagine lighting, temperature, and design that evolve as people age, supporting independence and well-being, reducing healthcare pressure, and extending the lifespan of tenancy itself. Technology is no longer a bolt-on, it becomes a silent partner in how we live. The question is, who's in control, us or the system? The third force is resilience. Floods, water stress, power shortages, these aren't distant forecasts, they're already here. In the future, the most valuable amenity won't be the gym or a roof terrace, it will be reliability. Power that works, water that's safe, connectivity that doesn't drop. Resilience is the new luxury. Trust in resilience will define value. Let's look ahead to 2 possible futures. The first, the algorithmic landlord. Imagine a world where your rent flexes weekly, where your energy use, amenities and access are dynamically priced by a system that claims to know you. At first, it seems efficient, until you realise transparency has become optional. Imagine your rent adjusts every week, not every year, based on algorithms you can't even see. How many of us would feel comfortable renting in that system? I wouldn't. Trust becomes a differentiator, not the technology itself. If your landlord is an algorithm, the challenge isn't technical, it's ethical. How do you build fairness, accountability, and empathy into a machine? The second scenario is the NOVA network, neighbourhoods of versatile accommodation. Picture modular, adaptive living that moves with people, not place, where mobility replaces stability, where portfolios operate like ecosystems, not silos. Homes become nodes in a wider decentralised network, connected through energy, data and community. In that world, belonging doesn't happen by default, it has to be designed intentionally. And then there's the contrarian view, the tech light home. What if resilience means simplicity, repairable, low energy, nature-linked homes that value connection over complexity? Communal gardens, shared greenhouses, regenerative design that makes people feel part of an ecosystem, not apart from it. Sometimes the smartest future is the slowest one. Minimal tech, maximum humanity. Whatever the model, the goal is the same. Systems that serve people. Multifamily, efficient, transparent automation. Co-living, community as a service, inclusive by design. Single family, suburban clusters that share energy, water and connectivity. Different models, same imperative, human-centered systems that work. If automation gives renters back 5 hours a week, how will they use it? Technology can save time, infrastructure can keep us safe, but only people create belonging. Efficiency means nothing if it erodes connection. So what can we do right now? We can make AI explainable, show how it works, build human escalation into every system. We can pilot resilience, start with one microgrid, one broadband upgrade, one water reuse project, small steps that prove value. Redesign the community playbook, co-create norms, measure belonging, not just occupancy. Bold futures start with small, decisive experiments. The UK doesn't exist in isolation. Across the world, weak signals point to where we might be heading. Carbon-positive housing clusters in Scandinavia that give back more than they take. Modular city districts in Asia that can reconfigure around demand. North American single-family communities testing microgrids and energy sharing. Japanese homes designed to be dismantled and reused. And entirely new cities in the Middle East, linear, car-free, and managed by AI. These aren't predictions, they're clues. Because futures are contagious. What feels fringe today often becomes mainstream tomorrow. Some of you absolutely will be disagreeing with what I've shared tonight. Others will agree, and that's the point. This isn't a fixed forecast, it's a tool, an exploration of diversity of thought. For example, when I was writing the script for this session, I was reminded that today's legislation is X and Y, and that this narrative that I'm proposing is leading the witness. And that is the conundrum we face when we think about what comes next. Our starting point is often the rules and realities of today, and that linear approach is important too, especially when we're in operational and delivery mode. However, it takes a different set of tools and mindsets to reimagine the future we want to see, a preferred future. So my call to action is this. Don't just reject the ideas that don't fit. Instead, look for your own forces of change, the signals, the disruptors, the shifts already happening around you. And dare to think boldly about the challenges of tomorrow. Really contest those challenges. Follow your discoveries, no matter how absurd they might feel. Obsess over human needs, the new values emerging, and what people will expect next. Then test those bold ideas with real people in real communities. And trust this process. It's so important to trust and believe this process. Because when you do, reality starts to feel that little bit more malleable, and the decisions you make today start to shape a much better tomorrow. Thank you.